Great decision to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, emanating from our studios as we always do, and they are tremendous. And we have a guest, equally tremendous, good friend, Phil Simms. This guy, he knows his football. The Simms family is the first family of football. We got Phil, we got Chris, we got Matt. They all played the game. They all broadcast the game. They're great communicators of the game of football. And Phil is entertaining as always. We talked to him about the Cincinnati Bengals. We talked to him about quarterback play in the National Football League. We talked to him about playoffs in the National Football League. He picks a national championship winner for us that's going to be the college football champion. So all of that with Phil Simms coming your way. And on top of that, Phil Simms, he could have taken his show on the road. Stand-up comic, man. Phil Simms, nobody like him. You must be the smartest person out there because you decided to tune into In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. You must have known, we're in our outstanding studios, by the way, there's none any better, and you must have known that our guest was the legendary Phil Simms. Let me tell you a little bit about Phil Simms.
Oh, boy.
Okay, 14 years.
15 years.
15 years under center with the New York Giants.
Right.
15 years quarterback under center. MVP of Super Bowl 21. Dude goes 22 for 25, 88%, still the best percentage in Super Bowl history. 150.9 quarterback rating.
What's that mean?
In that game, the best ever in Super Bowl history. Almost perfect. 39-20 rout of the Denver Broncos led by Phil Simms. He's also NFL Man of the Year in 1993, and that's not only for football, that's what you do off the field. That's what you do in your community. That's for being just one hell of a guy all around. Two-time Super Bowl champ in 85 and 93. Phil Simms, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. You were doing all that talking. I was going, wait, who are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? And especially what got me, you said, you people must be the smartest. I thought, was he saying about me? Are you thinking about me?
Oh,
hey, one of my great attributes, I wasn't that smart, you know. And I was a trained, whatever you want, coach, just tell me, I'll do it. I'm not going to argue. Let's just go.
The other thing, very important thing, is the draft is coming up again. 7th pick in the 1979 draft. 7th pick.
Yeah.
What was that day like, Phil, when you get picked 7th in the national?
Yeah, it was great. I will ask you this. Who was the 3rd pick of that draft?
Who was?
Went to Cincinnati. Quarterback. Jack Thompson.
The overthrown Samoan.
Oh, I've never heard that. No.
Jack Thompson.
I'll tell you what.
Jack
Thompson, I know I've probably said this on your show before. He was one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
Great guy. Great guy.
Gosh almighty. I mean, he really was. But what was draft day like? Oh, my gosh. I didn't tell many people about what I knew was going to go on. I told a few of my very close friends, only like 3 or 4 of them at Morehead State. And, of course, when it happened, all my teammates, everybody on the campus, all of them are going, he really? And we had to throw they wanted to throw a press conference together because nobody knew except the head coach of the school, Wayne Chapman. The Giants called him and said, look, we're going to take Phil with the 7th pick. But we had a press conference. Dave, I didn't have a jacket, a sport coat. I just didn't have those things.
Wow, yeah.
So I had to go to one of my teammates and go, man, what kind of jacket you got? So I wore, I think it was like a cream-colored sport coat.
Love it.
Oh yeah, it was. Whatever. It was a great day. It really was.
All you needed was a piano. Bang the keys a little bit, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That'd be.
I've always tell you these stories. But I knew the Bengals weren't going to draft me because I've said to you, the owner came down. I guess he watched the game, and I didn't throw enough spirals for him to like or whatever. And I don't know what the hell game were you watching, because I don't know. One thing I could do is throw a spiral, even with those stupid footballs we had to use sometimes in the NFL. But that's another story. But I did not want to be drafted by the Bengals. Nothing against them. It's just too close to home. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanted to go somewhere. And I either knew I was going to go, well, probably to the Giants, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, the Chargers, everything. Joe Gibbs came down and worked me out from the Chargers. Really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was a great day. Sorry.
Great day. All right. So defense wins championships, right? I mean, you played with the greatest defensive player in my mind that ever lived, Lawrence Taylor. I mean, he was
right. Me too.
So in the wild card round, the Chargers score 12 and lose the football game. Pittsburgh scores 14, loses the football game. Denver scores 7, loses the football game. All these teams lose by more than 2 scores, I mean, 2 scores or more. Green Bay scores 10, loses by 12 in the football game. Minnesota scores 9, loses big to the Rams. The only game that both teams, scored equally well. It wasn't like an offensive juggernaut. 23-20, Washington over Tampa Bay. Washington's the only road winner. Defense and home field advantage, how big is it in the playoffs?
Well, it's big. I mean, I can't even explain to people the first time I played a home playoff game and I ran out of the tunnel just to warm up, I went, oh my gosh, you could feel the difference right away. The tension, the fans, just, it was just amazing. And we hear that all the time. Dave, how many times did you have a home playoff game?
I'll tell you, the first time the Bengals won a home playoff game was the year we ran the table to go to the Super Bowl
Right.
16. We went 2-0 at home. That had never happened.
Oh wow! Well,
never won a home playoff game? Never won one until that year in franchise history.
Could you tell a difference in the crowd that day when you played?
That was the first game we had was against the Chargers, and that's the Freezer Bowl. That was 59 below, 9 below raw temperature, and 59 below wind chill. And Phil, it was crazy.
Oh,
the place was packed, and they were in full throat, man. It was absolutely nuts. We're thinking, look at these people, man.
Yeah,
they're sitting there freezing. It was nuts. That was huge to have home field advantage. And then we played Buffalo, beat Joe Ferguson and his Buffalo Bills 28-21. Home crowd was huge, no doubt, huge.
Joe Ferguson, he could throw a spiral and a tornado. I mean, I'm telling you, he had some arm on him, and that thing never died. He played forever.
Yeah,
but he could throw some spirals, whatever. Yeah, but being at home, everything like that, the crowd is just so crazy. Your body does change. I would say overall, especially early, that it made us a different football team when we got that home field advantage, no doubt.
In the wild card round, was there any game that surprised you? Was there anything that you stood up and said, "Wow, I quite wasn't expecting that"? Did you think?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, last night I wasn't surprised. I was shocked. I mean, didn't we learn anything from the damn Detroit game? Can we get him in the shotgun, get rid of the ball quick? It was incredible. Everything you want to talk about. It was like, oh my, I thought I went back in time and was watching the Monday night game between Detroit and Minnesota then. And I thought Minnesota would probably win the game. I thought, they got a lot of proven veterans. The coaching I kind of like. Of course I like. I bragged about them all year long. That one, and of course the Chargers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How slow did the Chargers look as a football team going against Houston? It was unbelievable. I couldn't get over watching it. And, here's what I don't like. And you know me. It just, all we hear about, the quarterback. Usually really good quarterbacks don't play well because it wasn't presented to them to play well. They had no chance. And look, that. You talk about teams that go to the Super Bowls and all this. I'll tell you the teams that go, the defense. And I'll tell you, the offensive line is a big deal always to me. And I follow it like you, very close. And good offensive lines. Let's see. Philadelphia, how's that O-line look?
Yeah, right.
Oh, my gosh. How about Baltimore's O-line? Oh my gosh.
Detroit, no
Oh,
one. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, there's some. It always kind of tunes out or turns that way. I say it all the time. Usually, top 10 offensive lines in the NFL will somehow find a way to get their team to the playoffs.
I think in these games in the wild card round, I thought that this podcast is called In the Trenches. I thought the trenches decided the game in a lot of instances. I thought that everybody that won by 2 scores or more handled the line of scrimmage on both sides of it. They had the better offensive line. They had edge rushers. They had everybody in their lanes. They had everybody in their gap stuff in the run. I mean, I thought that that part of the game was a big factor. I thought Houston, like you said, Herbert, 3 interceptions all season long, and he throws 4 in that football game. I mean, it's not all him. I mean, obviously he got pressured, he got hit. But what's that like, Phil? What do you think's going through Herbert's mind right now to have a season where he only throws 3? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Then to have 4 in the playoff game, man, that's got to be just heartbreaking.
Well, 2 things. The Houston Texans, there's one way to beat them. And, I got all the stats here in front of me, but, you got to be you got to be able to run the football. And let me go through the Chargers real quick. The offensive line is better than it looked that day, no doubt. Yep. Houston can rush the passer. They have tremendous speed, and, man, can they cover.
Yep.
That's the one thing about them. I saw them in preseason against the Giants. Oh, my gosh. The Giants, nobody's going to get open today in this game if they play their starters. So both of those things combined to get it done. Now let's talk about the Chargers. Very, by NFL standards, way below average with wide receiver group. And I don't mean this to be mean, because I don't like to ever be mean to football players. I respect what they're doing, but they have the slowest backfield in the NFL. And so, man, these are things you just can't overcome. And they did a great job all year managing games, manipulating games, and everything. And it worked for them. They got that record. But, boy, it's not even that they stepped up in class. Houston has struggled a lot this year, but they got outmanned. And I watched the game Monday morning on, the coach's film. Justin Herbert got destroyed.
He did.
And I'm going to tell you, almost every completion you go, man, that was a hell of a throw. Because they were all over everything. And they're an emotional team. They're a fast team. They were home. I'll give them credit. I tore up their fan base quite a few times during the season. When you guys going to show up? I see 15,000, 20,000 empty seats. Drives me crazy. You got a team that went to the playoffs last year. What are we looking for? But so I'm sure people love that.
Oh, I'm sure.
They showed up for the game, and they were part of it. And Houston made the plays just enough to find a way to beat them, even though the score was lopsided.
Stroud throws for 282, so he's pushing 300. You have Mixon rush for over 100, and Nico Collins has 122 receiving. So I mean, that's pretty good formula for success right there.
So that's their key players, Dave. So their key players there came through and put in big games, and their defensive backs, the great man coverage came through too. They stayed with the receivers. The receivers couldn't get away. So, that's part of winning. Winning. Your stars have to be stars in these playoff games, and you just said it all about Houston.
All right, so let's talk about the divisional round. The Texans travel to play the Chiefs. Washington battles Detroit in Detroit. The Rams go to Philadelphia to go against the Eagles, and then the Ravens and Bills finish it up on Sunday night at 6:30. I mean, 4 pretty good matchups there.
Sure.
Which one piques Phil Simms' interest, or is there more than one?
Well, yeah, I like them all, but listen, I think America and the whole as this week goes on, we're going to hear what it's going to be Baltimore at Buffalo, and that's what we want to see.
Yep.
And Baltimore just tore them up in their regular season game. So to me, that is a good sign for Buffalo playing at home. What did you learn? I'm sure they learned a lot. I think it's a really tough matchup for the Buffalo Bills, but they could find a way to win. But I look at it and just think this way real quick. I think it's like 60-40, maybe even a little higher, that Baltimore finds a way to win. Just name me the weak spot of their team, and it's gone away. The O-line's good. The receiving group is awesome. Oh, they got this guy that you know well. Derrick Henry running the football. Justice Hill's a really good runner. And they've kind of straightened out the defense. It's amazing. How about, I know you probably saw him a lot, played at Notre Dame. Kyle Hamilton, the fact that they move him to safety and now all of a sudden he's the guy.
Yep.
He's regulating and even though he didn't time fast in his 40 at the combine, damn, can he cover ground and make tackles. I mean, he's ferocious too. He can do it all. He's that guy that has great feel how to play the game. And there are always a group of guys you'd like to have more than one or two on your team, but just know how to play. They know how to take their talent and really apply it to what they're trying to do. And that's Kyle Hamilton.
We'd always talk about guys, man, he sees it before it happens. That's Kyle Hamilton, right? I mean, he sees it before it happens. It's like his instincts are unreal.
Yeah, you said it all. He's the guy, no matter what sport he played. If he played basketball, he just knew how to play it right. If he played baseball, he knew how to manage and run the bases. And come on, I wasn't, my son Christopher didn't like him coming out in the draft. He just loved him. And I said, yeah, I don't know, man. He's maybe not fast enough. So Kyle Hamilton is kind of put a little dent in that thing. We always don't have the fastest guy, but he plays fast because of his brains too.
And I think it's time with you mentioned Chris Sims, we love. He's a great friend to our show, as are you and your son Matt. I mean, the Sims family is the first family of football, man. There's no two ways.
Well, I don't know about that, Dave, but I tell you, we all got mouths on us. So I know that. So
and you all know what you're talking about now.
We all try. That's one thing my sons do. They try. My young son Matt, he's doing college football and pro stuff. So I feel bad for him sometimes, but I don't think he sits out there in his office and he listens or watches all the main games in college football. And then he has to do the pros. And I go, man, better you than me. I like just staying in one little lane here with pro football. So
I hear you. I'm with you. So a lot of young quarterbacks we're talking about in this it was in the wild card round, now in the divisional round, and the Bengals still have what a lot of people consider to be a young quarterback, obviously.
Sure.
What do you think about the young quarterbacks in the National Football League? I mean, who are some of your favorite young quarterbacks that you've seen in the NFL?
Well, listen, I'll just go back to last year. That draft class, they just knocked it out of the park. I mean, it's like, hell, and even before I forget, Bryce Young maybe resurrected his career. He got another chance, and if it had been a bad year for him, I think they would have maybe tried to move on. I don't know, but he played really well, had fun, applied everything we saw him do at Alabama. He was kind of applying it to the Carolina Panthers. But the draft picks, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and I think when we see J.J. McCarthy, which will be next year, I think he's going to turn out to be probably better than I anticipated. But Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Drake May. Drake May caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another one who got drafted last year that, man, I wouldn't want him on my team if I was the quarterback. That's Joe Milton, who went to New England. He played awesome once again. I don't care if it was against the backups or Buffalo or whoever was out there. I'm just judging him, and man, it was not impressive. It was incredible, impressive. He played almost a perfect game.
Jeez, I know it's the depth at the quarterback position in this league now is incredible. It really is. Let's talk about number 9 for the Cincinnati Bengals a little bit. I know you're a big fan of
Sure.
Burrow. Last year he led the team, led the league, I should say, in attempts, completions, yards, touchdown passes. I mean, he completed over 70% of his passes. He is phenomenal. I mean, it's hard to come up with an adjective for Joe Burrow and his level of play. What is it about Joe Burrow that impresses a guy of your talent that played the quarterback position? What box does Joe Burrow check that impresses you most, or is it multiple?
Well, first off, I'm jealous of him. That's for sure. I mean, hell, let's be honest. I mean, the way he plays, the offense. Somebody said, Zach Taylor could be in trouble with the Bengals. I said, no, he's not.
Right.
He's calling plays for Joe Burrow. They're not going to get rid of that guy. And they go, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, it is the point.
Right.
I loved him coming out of college. I can tell you this story. I actually called his father. Did I ever tell you that story?
You called Jimmy? Yeah.
Yeah, I called him, and because I thought I'd watched his tape from his junior year.
Yeah.
I said, I like this guy. He's going to be, I'm thinking he might be a third-round pick right now. And, because he just knew how to play when you watch that bad offense they were running then, I think, was Les Miles the coach?
Yes.
Yeah, so the offense stunk. I mean, but just watching him we talked about a few things, and as the season started for him at LSU, I went, well, him and I are never going to talk because he was lighting it up right from the start.
Right.
But here's size, tremendous mobility, understanding how to, even when he takes sacks, he knew instead of, sometimes you get in trouble when you just try to avoid sacks all the time because you're going to throw an interception because you got to get rid of it quick and you make a mistake.
Right.
So he just takes the sacks and he knows he's going to overcome it with the next down as he throws the football. But you look at him, he's bigger, faster, and a better thrower of the football now than he was as a rookie. He made a big jump his rookie year to his second year, and I noticed it almost right away. I said, wow, he's throwing the football. I'll say this about him. He throws the football hard with the easiest looking motion of anybody in the league.
Interesting.
He's like the guy that swings the golf club nice and has beautiful rhythm, and you go, how far did it go? Well, almost went 400. And you go, what? He does it with less effort. And he does that because it's literally the perfect throwing motion. I mean, everything he does, if you looked at it and analyzed it, whatever, you go, oh, that's right. He knows how to use his legs. He knows how to use his upper body. His arm is always in a good angle. And when I heard that damn Dallas Cowboy game on a Sunday night, I don't know who said it or where I heard it. Yeah, when he throws out cuts, he likes to throw it to the back hip so they can catch and spin out and get more yards. And I just went, what? What? Throwing those out cuts in the NFL? Man, I'm just trying to complete it. He's throwing it to the back hip. Then Jamar Chase catches one, spins out of it, runs for a touchdown, won the game. And when I heard that, when that was said, this is not fun. That's wrong, Joe. Come on.
That's incredible because they are taking it to the next level, Phil. It's like the receivers and Joe know that if Joe throws it to this shoulder, the receiver's on your opposite shoulder. If Joe throws it, so he's telling them where to make to make that first move. I mean, it's like, a physical language as such. It's remarkable how elevated their level of play is physically and mentally. It really is. And to have a guy like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow all through college and now in the National Football League, to have that that synergistic effect of all those reps together, it's invaluable, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, he sees Jamar and just goes, it doesn't matter what it is. And I don't think they care if he's covered either. That's not part of the situation. Yep. He knows how to throw him open. He knows how to throw it to him when he's covered. And that's a great skill. And really more quarterbacks should have that skill. You got to judge it and understand right away where to throw it. You throw it behind him, in front of him, high, low, and the receiver knows and he's thinking right along with you. And, Joe Burrow, I think, got a little, not annoyed, but, he's smart. When I said, look, he's the modern day Joe Montana. And he is. Except when I say modern day, he's bigger, stronger, faster, better arm. And I mean, everything like you said, it's trending up. These guys coming out and some of these elite quarterbacks, Dave, they're phenomenal. It's fun to watch them.
So, Joe, the offense set a team record this year, 472 points.
Wow.
And don't make the playoffs. Joe Burrow leads the quarterback ranks in, attempts, completions, yards, touchdowns. It goes on and on. Triple crown for Jamar Chase, leads the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns. Trey Hendrickson leads the NFL in sacks. That triumvirate right there, that trio,
it's great
of accomplishments. First time in NFL history team doesn't go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you not go to the play? Well, put the tape on and watch that defense a little bit. And it cost, a good friend of ours, and I'm sure a good friend of yours, Lou Anarumo, his job. He's a hell of a football coach.
Yeah.
It cost him his job. And what do you see in the Bengals defense? Where do they need to make the necessary improvements to at least get to middle of the road?
Yeah, it lacks talent. That's one thing. And, when you have an offense, you always hear this, you want your offense and defense to match. And, so when I see teams, let's just say like Cincy, when you play not to give up the big plays and all that, you're really taking away from your offense too, because the games just go quicker. We'll give up a couple first downs. Well, in the NFL, that's 5-6 minutes off the damn clock. And, Lou was really stuck. I will say this about Lou Anarumo. I thought at the end of the year, he put it together somehow, and they played so much better.
Yep.
And, it's hard to keep reaching out and trying to figure out new ways to get it done, or not even to get it done, just to make it presentable so our offense with the greatness can get done what we think they will do. But there's a little work to do over there. And I thought Lou got a little more aggressive later in the year because he just had to take those chances instead of letting the other team just march down on him. I'll put it back to this. The opening game of the year against New England. Man, they couldn't get off the field. 3rd and 6, 6-yard completion. This got that. I watched the game and almost fell asleep watching them getting these first downs. So it's a big. They got a good undertaking in Cincinnati this offseason, and it's going to take more than one player to kind of fix that defense to get it to a new level to somewhat match the offense and not take away from the offense. So I don't know if that made sense, but in my mind, it did. I don't know if it came out of my mouth the right way.
No, it did. It made total sense. And I'm looking at this football team, like you talk about the New England game. When it happened, I'm like, that's going to come back to bite them in the butt. Blowing that game. Now they have to win 2 games they weren't necessarily expected to win to make up for that fiasco.
Right.
Because, they ended up being they were the number 1 pick in the draft till, they end up winning their last game of the season when Buffalo didn't play anybody. So now it's like, man, they lose 2 games to Baltimore and 1 to Buffalo by a total of 5 points. They lose two 1-point games, 1 to Baltimore, 1 to Buffalo, and lose another game to Baltimore by 3. They lose 2 games to the Ravens by a total of 4 points, throw Buffalo in there by a total of 5. So it's like, man, I'm watching the playoff games and I'm saying, I got a better team than half of these teams playing, but you got to earn it, man. You got nobody to blame but yourselves, and it's too bad that offense isn't on display out there. It really incredible, but man,
well, how about this, Dave? Everybody kept saying on TV, and I hear it from Boomer and all this, and everybody was saying the right thing. No playoff team wanted to see Cincinnati. Nobody did.
You're right.
And of course they didn't. Why would you want to face that?
Yep.
And knowing if you're not super sharp with your offense that day, because, sooner or later, the defense for Cincy might play better, whatever. But, yeah, they didn't want to play because they knew it's just almost impossible to stop. And the fact that they kept those games against Baltimore the way they did, I really thought that was, just telling me so much about their team. And Joe Burrow, I'm surprised teams didn't call him and say, hey, can you tell us how to play Baltimore? Because the offense really, we were on the plane going to Germany when they played Baltimore. Was that a Thursday night game or is that what it was?
Yes.
And, Bob Papa, who does the Giant radio games, he's sitting next to him. What's going on? He goes, Joe Burrow just threw a 70-yard touchdown. No, come on, really? And then I look again. What's the score? Oh, my gosh. Yes, Joe Burrow. I was like, it was kind of fun just to listen to the updates, man. And, we were laughing going, God, that game, it must be crazy. And it was crazy when I came home and watched it.
I'm telling you, they were in so many track meets, man. Whew.
But Dave, it just shows you. I really believe this too. And I became a believer as people talked about it. If the Bengals got into the playoffs, If you told me they were going to go to the Super Bowl and win, I'd go, yeah, I could see that. I wouldn't go, oh no, there's no way. I
Right.
could see it because they were just almost impossible just to separate from.
Okay, so with that said, the next divisional round games: Texans at Chiefs, Washington, Detroit, Rams, Eagles, Ravens, Bills. I don't know. I look at a eventual Super Bowl matchup. Call me old school, call me whatever.
Yeah,
but man, I could see Baltimore and Philadelphia because they got offensive lines. They can run it. They can play complementary football. They can play balanced football. It's like, Baltimore's defense is resurrected. I mean, they're playing the type of football since Hamilton went to free safety. So I'm looking at it, I'm saying, look at the running backs. Look at the offensive line. Look at the defensive lines. The quarterbacks can run it and throw it. Now, obviously, I don't think Hertz throws the ball as well.
No, he's not the same league.
Right, not in the same vicinity. But I could see those two in a slobber knocker, real physical, old school type matchups. What do you think could happen in the Super Bowl, Phil?
Well, if they do make it to the Super Bowl, it'll be the first time in 20 years that I picked the two teams to go there before the season started. So, yeah, so we'll see. But I was asked if, last week, I said, I still, even though I predicted it before the year, I shouldn't say predict, that's who I picked. And I did it for the first time instead of trying to, I'm going to pick a team that nobody's thinking of. No, I took what I thought were somewhat chalk teams. And you said it all. How about the Philadelphia Eagles? I mean, basically, their whole line could have been in the Pro Bowl. And I heard somebody on TV today going, oh, my God, and they got Cam Jurgens. We thought there'd be with Kelsey retiring. And I said, well, you don't understand. What do you think they're doing that? They drafted Cam Jurgens to give him 2 years of learning and working with that damn O-line coach they got down there who is great. Mekhi Becton, never worked at the Jets. He played right guard. He was not good. He was fantastic.
He was.
My God. So you're right. The offensive lines of both and the defensive lines, we keep talking. And, of course, no matter what happens, the quarterback who's going to win or lose, it won't be anybody else. We don't talk about the defensive
right.
The defense who can't tackle anybody today. Well, the quarterback just had to play better. Oh, okay.
Right.
The coach is making one stupid decision after another. Yeah, but the quarterback play. I get hey, I have an ex-quarterback. I like to try to tell the truth about these guys, but even I get sick of hearing it's just always the quarterback. You're an anomaly. You actually said some words about the offensive line and defensive line. And what's it come down to? Who's going to hit the other team harder?
Yep. It's going to be physicality at its best, man.
Yeah. So
let me ask you, Hertz obviously and Jackson both run the ball, but they run it differently. And Hertz with the concussion, what do you think? Do you think they'll unleash Hertz? I mean, obviously in the Super Bowl they're going to unleash him. There's no reason not to, I guess. But I mean, what do you think about these two quarterbacks? Like you say, Jackson is kind of in another stratosphere in both categories, but Hertz pretty damn solid in both of them.
Well, yeah, Jalen Hurts is a extremely, extremely careful thrower of the football. And I don't know if that's because the way he wants to play or he understands the grand scope of who they are. Don't take an unnecessary chance because we're a good football team. We basically have no glaring weakness. And they don't do a lot in the pass game as far as what I say, design of what they do. They're doing the same things they did 2 years ago. I mean, I can tell you their whole offense almost right now. It's just what they do. But it makes it, I think it's good for Jalen Hurts too. It's simple, but it's easy for him to get a quick read and determine if he wants to move, throw it away, whatever, but doesn't take chances throwing the football into a lot of tight spots. So that's really well done. Lamar Jackson, I watched their game this morning, the playoff game against Pittsburgh. How about this? I wrote down. He dropped back. He took 3 steps to the right. He took 3 steps to the left. He took 3 steps going forward. Then he backpedaled and completed a 20-yard pass down the field. That was I wrote it down just like that.
Unreal.
It's unreal. And please, everybody, don't tell me this guy could be the next Lamar Jackson. It might be 20 years before we see this again because his running, his quickness, all that. But, and I've been saying it almost since he came in the league. He can really throw the ball. Yeah. I mean, throw it really, really well. And if he sees a dirty, I don't want to get in that cliche crap, but if he sees somebody that's kind of covered, well, he's just going to move and wait and give him more time to get open. That's what he did against Pittsburgh. Finally, Pittsburgh kind of caught on to him. I thought they played him, probably in the second half, they played him much better. And I just wanted to go, why weren't we doing this before?
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson, they need to get another quarterback in Pittsburgh. No, they don't. They need to get better players. My God. And they do nothing on offense. It's just right out of the book. Day one installation of training camp. I mean, I'm being mean. I'm sorry, Dave.
I love you, man.
It's like, what do you think the quarterback is going to do?
Yeah.
You're giving him so few options. And they go, we're going to rely on him throwing sideline little passes over the top of guys, and that's going to win the game. And they even hit a few of them. But it wasn't enough because the meat and potatoes of what they do, we want to run the football, we want to control it, and our defense, and we want to win 17-13. Well, good luck on that scenario. I mean, it's again, that's all you heard when they lost. I watch all the damn TV shows on TV. They just got to get a quarterback for next year. They just need a quarterback. Quarterbacks weren't the problem at Pittsburgh, so take that and drink it with a cup of coffee.
There you go.
I don't know. You watch,
I'm with you. I'm in your corner 100,000%. Everything you say is football gospel, man. No doubt. No doubt. You speak football truth, no doubt. You always have and always will, man.
Well, it's just annoying, that we put all this emphasis on the damn quarterback. And I understand it's important. But when I know they're playing solid football and giving the team a chance, and the rest of the team and even the coaches sometimes make mistakes that lose the game, but we always go back. Well, the quarterback, his QB rating was, it was only 100. And like I always say to you, what the hell does that mean? If I ever do a radio show or a game ever again, if I say something about their QBR, you have my permission just to come and smack me in the back of the head when you see me. So, God almighty, QBR. Oh my God, please.
You're the best. All right, let's wrap it up with this because you have been extremely generous as always with your time.
No, hell, you can see I'm frustrated, so I need to talk.
I love it. So we'll ask you. It sounds like you got Baltimore, Philadelphia in your Super Bowl. Who's your Super Bowl winner? And then can you give me the winner of the college football national championship game? Would that be Notre Dame or the Buckeyes of Ohio State?
Well, if Philadelphia and Baltimore make it to the Super Bowl, I'm going to take – this is a tough one. I'm going to take Philadelphia. I think top to bottom, they're front four on defense or front seven, whatever you want to say. Yeah. Now they got corners. They're all – I would take Philadelphia. They just, I think, physically are a little above Baltimore. But, of course, we know the wild card. They can upset everything. Lamar can upset anything. So, but I think Philadelphia is the best team in the NFL. And if I had to pick right now, I'll take them to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Oh, and the championship game?
Yeah.
Hey, come on. Notre Dame is fast. I will say that. They got a fast damn team. It is big time.
They're undersized, but they can move, man. They're fast.
They can move.
Yep.
And, we always say, well, this team's really well coached. And this Notre Dame is really well coached. Wow. Do they understand how to manage the game and do it? It's big time pro material, the way he manages the football games. But I'm going to take Ohio State. They're big. They're fast. They got a lot of things going for them. They're still getting over the fact that they lost to Michigan, and they're still mad as hell about that.
Right.
So winning a national championship might cool that a little bit up in Columbus. But yeah, I think Ohio State's the better team, and they should be sooner or later find a way to overpower Notre Dame to win.
It's amazing up there in Columbus. I mean, the people are thinking, yeah, well, okay, the Michigan loss, it'll give us impetus to win the national championship game. But they're more aggravated about losing to Michigan than winning a national championship. I mean, it's crazy. it's crazy about this Michigan stuff. To me, I mean, that Michigan loss, if you learn from it, it's probably the best thing that could have happened to you.
There is no doubt. The onslaught against all the players, the coaches, and everything when they lost that game to Michigan is a huge reason and propelled them, I think, to where they are.
No question.
You know, I mean, and I got to tell you, I started looking at the team differently as I saw them on TV. I watch almost all the Ohio State games on TV every Saturday, but the fact that they got a little more aggressive in what they're coaching, I think, is what's been a big difference. And, you know, I hear all these things. Oh, well, they were really trying to rest their team and manage it because it's going to be a long year. And I said, yeah, that managing the team and the way you played almost cost you a spot in the playoffs.
Yep.
I thought they were way too conservative, and we've seen them be a little different team so far in the playoffs.
No doubt. They've the skill players, the quarterback and the receivers they have, and the way they played against Michigan, what they did, they pulled their horns in and said, we're going to beat you up. We're going to show you we're bigger men. We're better men. Ridiculous.
Yeah, let me tell you this, too. You know, we got a lot of good Catholic schools up here that play football, like Moeller, down in Cincy, and all the other Catholic schools.
Yes.
They are good. I go on Friday nights during the season and watch a couple of them every year. And Bill Belichick was up here throwing scholarships around to a lot of these people. But there's two good receivers in this area. They're really good. They got it all. Size, can really run. They played on teams that threw the ball enough, so they got a little maturity that way.
Yeah.
And where do you think they're going?
Ohio State.
Yeah, they're going to Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State's got a lock on receivers. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And I was down throwing with my grandson, and I was in like this indoor place, and all of a sudden this big group of, you know, high school kids come in. I go, where are y'all from? Oh, we're from Bergen Catholic. And I'm looking at them going, did y'all lose any games? I guess they lost a nail biter to IMG early in the year, but they ran the table from there. And because I was watching them going, if you'd have told me it was a college team, I'd go, damn, that's a good looking team. I'm not exaggerating. It's unbelievable. So these high school kids, it's truly extraordinary what we see now.
It is. The size, speed, athletic talent. It's crazy. It is crazy.
They're groomed. They're ready.
Yeah.
And, you know, when are we going to start seeing this? That you can come out of college in 2 years instead of waiting 3.
Yeah, that's coming.
That'll come, I think, someday, because a lot of these kids, I got to be honest, after 2 years, they're ready. They don't need 4 and 3 years anymore. They're ready to come out because you can tell they've been mature since they were freshmen in high schools.
I'm seeing 6th, 7th, and 8th graders like, what? That kid's in 6th grade? I'm telling you, man, nutrition, diet, strength, and conditioning. Those 4 things.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, what the heck? Oh, man.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, it's all sports now is dominated by freaks. Yeah. I mean, look at basketball. Look at baseball. Baseball's turned into the land of giants. I mean, it really is. It's just the talent and the what's the word for it? The sports environment, and like everything you just said. And you know, you grow up and you're thinking about you want to be a pro.
Aaron Judge would be big in the NBA and the NFL. He'd be a big body there.
I sat right behind home plate for the first time ever at a Yankee game, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But between Aaron Judge and, oh, my God, come on, the other guy, the other big one they have from Miami, whatever. They're both like 6'6", 6'8", whatever. Yeah. And they come to the plate, and I just go, oh, my gosh, look at this. Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton, yes.
Yeah, big Carlos.
Man, I mean, you know, he looks like the greatest built tight end in the NFL. Oh, well, it's all good, man. It's great.
Phil, I hope you and your family had phenomenal holiday season, because you, more than anybody I know, deserve that, sir.
Well, that's nice of you to say, Dave. Same to you. You're a good man. Always love talking to you. And the Bengals, you know, hey, I'll just say this to all the Bengal fans who I hope they all listen to your show. It's amazing how it can all be fixed almost right away. And by week 5, we go, Bengals are a Super Bowl contender next year. I think it's that close. It can change that fast, especially when they have that guy behind center.
Love what you're saying there, sir. I love the way you talk, Phil Simms. You're the best. And
all right, Dave.
As always, Thank you.
All right, good. You didn't call me. You didn't talk. We didn't talk during the year this year, did we?
I'm not sure we did. I'm not sure. Yeah, that was a a
Yeah,
mistake on my part.
No, it's okay. You dumped me down to the end of that Rolodex, so I'm used to it. So don't worry. You can't hurt my feelings.
Love you, man.
All right, see you, bud.
See you, Phil.
Have a good day.
You too.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.